Mystery Theory. This is an ASMR video and it's meant to be whispered from start to finish. However, if you're interested in this story, I have a podcast on it with normal tone of voice. So if you really want to know about this case, I will have a comment pinned to the top with the link where you can listen to this story in a different format. Before I start with today's video, I also wanted to mention that I appreciate everyone's messages. I usually upload on Mondays, and I didn't this week. I have my son's graduation this week. He's graduating high school, and we're getting ready for it. I have a pile of work in my desk that it's driving me crazy, but I can't concentrate on anything right now, so I'm doing the best I can. I don't know, this is a really exciting time, and I want to make it special for him, because even though some people think that graduating high school is not a big deal, being a teen mom myself, a lot of people told me the statistics and explained that more than likely I would live in poverty and that my kids would not finish high school. And I am not the kind of person to be like, hey, look, I did it. No, not at all. But I am excited to be not part of the statistics and kind of break that cycle, at least for my family. So for me, it's a big deal. I remember imagining this time when he was a baby. I always leave ahead, but I remember seeing him, graduating and going to college and getting married, and so this is one of the first things that he accomplished, and he's my oldest, and so for me everything is new, it's different, I'm not sure what I'm doing, so I am sorry that I haven't been able to upload the videos that I should have this week. So however, this next week I will have a new case, which is on the Alcázar girls. If you are the one that requested that video, it was because of you that I did the research on that, and I have over 100 pages of research that is waiting in my desk, on top of the work that I have piling on my desk. So I did start the research. I'm probably halfway done with my notes, but I still need to finish it, and hopefully it should be up by Monday, which is Memorial Day here in the US. Yes, and I think that's pretty much it. And let's move on to today's case. As I mentioned before, I already have it in my podcast, but I think that this is something that is happening more than it should. I think this is one of those cases that we can avoid, that we can see the signs before something horrible like this happens, that we need to bring awareness to it, because if we don't know this is a thing, how can we prevent it? How can we help if we don't know the patterns and the things that you should look out for in this kind of situation? This also involves teenagers, and if you've been on my channel for some time, you know that I have a soft spot for teenagers and troubled teenagers, and I don't know, I always like to talk about things relating to them, because I wasn't a really good teenager myself. I don't know, I wasn't into, drugs or crazy stuff, but I've done my This is, okay, stop right there. Don't keep going. And you'll be fine. It's gonna pass. Teenagers are gonna grow up. You're gonna grow up. This is going to be something that you can put behind you. And I think that's why the Lauren Astley case was one of the cases that it kind of involves a lot of that and a whole lot more. Now, Lauren Astley was raised in the Wayland area. That's in Massachusetts, a Boston suburb. Her parents were both educators. I'm not sure if they were high school teachers, school teachers, but I know that both of them were educators. Lauren, she loved sports, and her mom, in different interviews that I saw, she mentioned that she loved to play soccer, tennis, and she loved to be active overall. The mom also mentions that I think she was 5'3" at the time, and she wasn't that tall or, strong or suited, quote unquote, to be in any kind of sport, but she loved it so much that she was always involved in one. She was also musically gifted, and you could always find her singing and dancing in all kinds of homemade videos. If you look it up online, you will be able to find them. I mean, there's tons of videos of Lauren singing. She had the most beautiful voice. I mean, you can find her singing a cappella songs, and she had a beautiful voice. When she was 12 years old, she got a part in Annie in a local theater production, and I think that's when she realized that she wanted to continue to do that. She loved it. So Lauren's parents got divorced in 2006, and they got to share custody of Lauren. Even though this is a hard time for any teenagers or, kids, apparently it was a very amicable kind of divorce, so Lauren was okay with the idea of share with both of her parents. Now, she had a very close group of friends: Genevieve, Chloe, and Hannah. They describe Lauren as somebody who stood out in a crowd. She was honest and had a strong personality. And now I have to say, I'm going to try to add pictures, but she was also very beautiful. She had one of those very big and beautiful eyes that you cannot help it. You just have to stare at them. I do anyways. I'm kind of weird like that. She was very compassionate and had a drive to help other peoples. Even one of her friends went with her to rebuild after Hurricane Katrina. In Lauren in particular, she went in 3 different occasions to help with manual labor, so it wasn't like I'm handing out water or anything, but you can even see some pictures of her doing some hard work. When she started high school, she became a lead singer in an a cappella group, and she got to sing the song Breathless. I am sure you know what song that is, but it's one of my favorites anyways. She loved singing and had a great voice, so she was really excited about being part of this group. According to her friends, she just wouldn't stop talking about it. It was like a dream come true for her. At the same time, she started dating, and the name of the guy was Nathaniel Fujita. According to her friends, this was her first serious boyfriend. And he was, a football star. He was attractive, he was popular, he was nice, funny, and friendly. This is according to Lauren's friends, so you can kind of imagine that he was one of those popular, I'm lucky to date you kind of guy at their high school. Now, the friends say that it seemed like a perfect relationship. They successful in what they were pursuing, him with football and she was succeeding with her singing. They were described as the it couple at their high school. Nate is the oldest son of Beth and Tomo Fujita. Her dad, Tomo, is a well-known guitarist and professor at Berklee College of Music in Boston. Nathaniel and Lauren spent a lot of time together, and most of it was at Nate's house. Now, I am not sure if it was because, Nate had a family and, the parents were there and they kind of had a different dynamic compared to her household that, her parents were divorced or anything, but I know that according to witnesses, they spent most of the time at Nate's house. The mom described them as, Lauren's mom described them as the perfect couple for the first 2 years. But the third one wasn't as good as things started to fall apart. And it became like a cycle, they were together and then they were broken up. They were back together and then broken up again. And that's when the mom, Lauren's mom, realized that this was taking a turn that she didn't like. But as, for whatever research I did, I don't think the mom was telling Lauren to leave Nate. She was just noticing a pattern that she didn't like. But I think that she trusted Lauren to be smart enough to step away if it was getting into something that she didn't want or like. Now, in the spring of the senior year, on Lauren's 18th birthday, Lauren broke up with Nate, but this time she made sure to let him know that it was for good. Later on that day, Lauren's mom got home from work to find Lauren sobbing and told her that she broke up for good with Nate. According to Lauren's dad, which it's kind of different of what the mom says, the mom kind of sees her being devastated, but according to Lauren's dad, she was devastated, but at the same time you could see some kind of relief that she felt. It was like she wanted this fighting cycle to stop and they were going away for college. And apparently Lauren got into Elon University in North Carolina. So it was kind of an ending to get a new beginning. At least that's what Lauren's dad shares. Nathaniel, however, on the other side, he was devastated and he got really depressed. It was supposed to be a happy time for Nate, but he couldn't shake it off. According to his parents, he has been recruited to play football in Trinity College, Connecticut. And according to his family, that was his dream come true. He really worked hard to get to that point. Now graduation happened and Hannah, Lauren, and Chloe decided to throw a party. Now this wasn't like a 5 friends kind of party. They rented a tent and they had over 150 people at the party. I mean, I'm not talking about people that they invited. I'm saying those are the people that ended up showing up at the party. One of those was Nate, and apparently Nate wanted to talk to Lauren, but it was more about them and their relationship. So after some time to putting up with it and trying to ask Nate to stay away from her and not, I think Lauren wanted to have a civilized breakup. We can still be friends, we can still see each other, but let's not talk about our past relationship. So she got fed up, according to her friends, and she decided to tell her mother that Nate was harassing her and that he would something. I don't know why, but he got really mad and punched a pole that was holding the tent. The tent almost collapsed, and the people had to hold the poles up in order to, make sure that it doesn't collapse on them. And of course, at that point, he was asked to leave the party. A month later, Lauren and her friends had plans to go meet with other friends in a party. I feel like Lauren tried to move on from this by staying with her girlfriends, doing the thing that teenagers do at that age. But Lauren never showed up. The friends decided to call her, of course, because it wasn't like Lauren to not show up or call or anything like that. But Lauren never picked up the phone. At that point, another friend that was driving to the party called the friends that were originally calling Lauren and asked this friend that was driving asked the other friends at the party if they seen Lauren, because she just saw her car at the beach parking. And what was weird is that the windows were down and her computer, purse, everything was inside. And the friend that was driving by realized that was something that Lauren would never do. All of her friends went to the beach at that point and started to look for her, calling her name and wondering what she was doing there, and hoping, of course, that she was there. I think that's a normal reaction. You don't have to be a teenager to be like, okay, her car is here, maybe she got here, she's looking for something, maybe she gave somebody a ride, maybe, you never know what she could have been doing there. Of course, Lauren's dad gets contacted and the mom, and Lauren's dad goes to the beach, and one of the things that he mentions in an interview that I watch is that he felt the need to go directly in the water, thinking that she was in the water and that she needed help to come out as soon as possible. Like maybe she drowned or something. That's what it seems like he's trying to I don't know, explain. That's how he felt as soon as he got to the beach. Because of course the friends were looking for her before, so it's not like she was wandering around the beach. Where could she be? And that's where he thought that she was at. All her friends and pretty much the whole town found out, and everyone knew that she knew was looking for her. So this became like a team effort. And even Lauren's dad said that the friends and everyone that she knew camped overnight at the beach, and they weren't just camping and sleeping there, but they spent all night basically looking for Lauren at the beach. Something that he said, and I wanted to share with you, is I don't know, I have a special soft spot for people that have this kind of thinking. I don't know how to explain it, but you'll see it at the end. He also mentions in that interview that he remembers that it was a beautiful night and that he couldn't believe that this horrible thing was happening in that beautiful night. It's just the little things, that you notice. Some people don't notice anything when and I understand because you're looking for somebody, but this guy, I'll talk more about him at the end. At this point, the police got involved and started to ask questions to Lauren's friends, of course, because they were the ones that talked to her about going to this party. And one of the first things that the police asked them is about the ex-boyfriend. But I mean, and I saw the interviews about, with the girls that gave the statement to the police, and they were like, well, are you talking about Nate? No, he couldn't have done anything. I don't think he knows anything. He's the ex-boyfriend. They're not together anymore. I don't think he has anything to do with this. But the police decides to go visit Nate's house and he was there. They ask him where he's been, and he tells them that he's been home. And that is what the police shares that he said. He shared more in this specific occasion, the night that Lauren disappeared, but I'll leave that in for, in a few more minutes. I'll expand on that. Just remember that the police said that they visited and he said that he was home. Early the next morning on July 4th, 2011, Lauren's body was discovered. It was 5 miles away from her home. She's been strangled and her throat cut. She also had a bungee cord tangled in her hair. The police, the night before, remember that visit Nathaniel or Nate. And now at this point, the police shared that they also said, and again, this is the kind of thing that sometimes they keep because they're investigating, right? And they need these tips and things to catch whoever did this. But then the police at this point said that when they visited Nathaniel the night before, he was with his mom, and that both of them explained that Nate was home alone, yes, but that Lauren stopped by the house, never got out of the car, stayed 5 minutes, and then left. The night before, I don't think the police had any reason to doubt what he was saying, what Nate was saying at that point, but after finding the body, they had more questions for him. So they went back and visited his house. But at this time, Nate wasn't there. It was only his dad, and said that Nate wasn't home. I can't even put myself in his dad's shoes. I mean, you're like, think about it. The police come looking for your son, and you open the door and you're like, oh no, he left. He said he was going for a ride or to a friend's house, and you're kind of wondering what's going on. I don't think the idea ever crosses your mind, but the police still needed to investigate, their relationship that Nate and Lauren had. The weeks prior to Lauren's death, they knew that they were together for some time, but they also knew that they broke up, so they decided to conduct a little investigation and see if they could find something on Nate while they were still looking for him. They found out that things were not good, that he went from a really athletic, active kid to being inside, away from his friends and looking depressed, sitting all day in the couch. Apparently that wasn't all. He was also drinking a lot and smoking pot every day. Of course, if he was staying home, he was smoking and he was drinking and he was, well, his parents did realize that something was up. So Nate's mom, I'm sure that she tried to talk to him but couldn't get to him. So she decided to take him to a psychiatrist. Remember that Nate is an adult. He is 18 at the time. So you do have to convince your kids to do what you think is right as a mother, which I think that is kind of tricky. I remember taking my oldest son to an emergency room for a scratch, something he had, but I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't infected, and the lady told me, no, don't put your information there, put his information, because he's going to be responsible for this bill. And I'm like, lady, do not tell me that. He's a baby. Well, I didn't tell her that, but you know what I mean. As a mom, I don't think you ever think that your kid is grown up, especially when they're 18 years old, and you probably do their laundry and make their bed every once in a while. So, I'm not saying that every mom does it. I'm just saying that you look at them like if they're kids, So, having to convince somebody who's being depressed and staying at was such a easy task to do for the mom, but she did. She actually convinced him. And apparently the psychiatrist said that he had a major clinical depression. Major clinical depression, it's dangerous, okay? But Nate, being an adult, refused the antidepressants and the therapy, which was going to be a combination. It wasn't going to be one or the other, but he needed both in order to help him get out of this clinical depression, which I feel like at some point we're going to have to change the laws or something. If somebody's going to this clinical depression thing, we know that it's very dangerous for them, and that at some points they're very dangerous to other people. So I'm hoping that in the future we can change the laws to help these people that at the time they don't think they need the help, but research shows that they do need it, and hopefully we can help them or make them accept the treatment, and as soon as they have a clear mind, then make their own decisions, because this is, I'm not saying that they need to be locked up, I'm just saying that it would help a lot if it wasn't an option to get treatment for this. Maybe make it affordable, maybe make it free. I am not sure what the solution for this would be, but I just feel like leaving this decision to an 18-year-old boy, which the mom couldn't do anything about it. It was one of the things that would set the events that actually happened to him. The mom also decided to talk to Lauren, and she visited at her work. Lauren worked at this store at the mall, and she visited her. The mom visited Lauren and asked her to talk to Nate, hoping that she would get through him. I don't know. It doesn't say what the mom wanted Lauren to talk to him about. I think that Nate's parents are good people, and I don't think that they were pushing Lauren into being back together with Nate, but maybe the mom thought that, Lauren could get through him and make him want to go and get treatment. That's what I'm guessing, but I don't know. Basically everything that I could find is just saying that the mom asked Lauren to go visit and talk to him. And Lauren did agree to that, and she reached out to Nate. Now on July 3rd, Lauren started her day as usual and was caught in a camera, or those that you can find at the mall, and she was getting to her job and that's one of the few images and things that we know she did, because it was caught in a surveillance camera. And then the same camera catches her at 6:45 p.m. leaving the mall. And another thing that we can see from the footage is that she was on the phone. After a lot of digging and investigation and cell phone records, we know that at that time she was talking to Nate on the phone. After that footage, Lawrence was never seen alive again. She had plans with her friends and never told them that she planned to visit Nate first. I feel like this is a very common thing. Teenagers do share, and I have some statistics for the end, that they do share with their friends most of what they're going through, good or bad. I feel like grown-ups, we do feel the judgment a little bit more from other grown-ups, but according to research, teenagers are more open to talk about what they're going through, good or bad, with their friends. I think it's 80% of the time. Now, police did find a text message at 7:05, it said here to Nathaniel, indicating that she was outside of Nate's home. And Nate, at that time, was home alone. And sadly, that was the last text that Lauren sent. Do you ever wonder that kind of stuff? I always wonder that. I think I started wondering what my last text would be, or other people's text would be, because I had a few close deaths, and I could check their Facebook and their last post, and what they said the last time that they were there. I also remember a case a few years ago. This teenager was, well, I'm not sure, maybe he was in his 20s, but he was driving and he got a call, he got a message from, I think it was the mom, and he answered LOL, and he crashed because he was sending the text. And the police made a big deal out of it, and they said that those were his last words, basically, and that LOL cost his life, which it's 100% true, but it kind of touched my heart. So, the police decided to get a search warrant and started in the garage. I mean, they had enough evidence to know that Lauren was talking to him when she left the mall. Okay? She didn't talk to her friends. She didn't say where she was going. And it almost felt like she was hiding this from everyone. Maybe her friends were over Nate. Maybe the friends knew that he was being a butthole or something, and they were like, don't talk to the guy. Be safe. Stay away from him. Not because they thought that he could do something like this, because again, I know that that's not the case, but according to what they share, of course, in different interviews, but at the same time, I wonder why she felt like she had to hide it from everyone, her parents, her friends, everyone. So now that the police knew that, Nate was the last person who seen her alive and also talked to her on the phone and got the last text message that she sent, they had more than enough to get a search warrant, to convince a judge that they needed this search warrant, and started in the garage area. Apparently, there was an obvious stain there, and that it's why they decided to start there. When they tested for blood, it was positive. They continued to look around the garage area, and they found more blood. Bungee cords, which is one of the things that they found in Lauren's hair. And in the basement, a gym bag with soaking wet shoes, and they were also very muddy. Then they decided to go check Nate's room. Remember, he's nowhere to be found at this point. It's just, they don't know where he is. So they go check Nate's room, and apparently he had a door in his ceiling that would take to the attic, or that's what it seemed like. I didn't see it. I looked for pictures, but I couldn't find it. So I'm assuming that he had that kind of door that you open up to get into the attic. Not that they had an attic or something. Maybe it was just the insulation or anything like that. But when they opened there, they found sneakers with blood stains. Now, it doesn't take a lot of police investigation to realize that Nate needed to be arrested. So they got a warrant for his arrest, and they found him in one of his cousin's house in a nearby town. When they told him that for what he was being arrested, the police officer mentions in one of the interviews that he didn't even say any. He was mute. He didn't want to talk. So in there, days of July 5th, he got arrested. And when they tested all the blood that it was found in his house, it was positive it was Lauren's blood. Now, the police put a timeline, but this guy wasn't talking. So this is what the police think that happened. Apparently Nate was home when Lauren stopped by. So we do know a little bit more about the details, text messages and stuff, but bottom line is he killed her in the garage and drove her jeep to the beach, parking, and it wasn't that far away from his house. I think it said something about a quarter of a mile away from his home. And he dumped the keys of the jeep in a storm drain and then decided to go and ran back home. So, I mean, a quarter of a mile, not a big deal. He could have done that very fast. And he then put Lauren in his car and drove 5 miles to a secluded marsh and drops her 30 feet in the water. So he actually goes in the water and tries to hide her in between some kind of plants or something that is in the water itself. When he goes back to his house, when he's on the way back to his house, remember it's 5 miles away, he was spotted by a witness that said that he had no shirt on, and that the music was very loud, which it made sense now that we know that, because of course he probably got wet while he was getting in the water to drop her body, which is something that we're gonna touch back on. And I'll tell you what I think about that. But apparently he came back home, hid the evidence, which he didn't do a good job in my opinion, and he did all that in less than an hour. I mean, think about that. He killed her. He went, dropped the car at the beach, and then came back, and then pick her up, and then take her there, drive 5 miles one way, 5 miles the other. Apparently he was very upset about Lauren, or the police think that he was very upset, and that he didn't see a way out, so he decided to kill her. Which, decided to kill her, it almost made it seem like it was a premeditated kind of thing. So I feel like this is a great example of breakup violence, which I hope that it never had to happen in order to bring awareness to breakup violence, but it's just one of those things that if you don't put it into something that it's so hard, like this case, I don't think that it would make sense in the teenagers' minds. Yeah, you think you know somebody. Yeah, you date them for quite some time. Yeah, in your head, they're there to protect you, to be there for you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you know them. You know how they would react in a certain situation, but you don't know how they would react in other situations. The police couldn't find any signs of abuse like the previous weeks. They just couldn't find them, but when the trial started, it was brutal. I saw all these teenagers, testifying and sharing what they knew about the relationship that Nate and Lauren had, and it just breaks my heart because some of them, they just couldn't even talk. Some of Lauren's friends were crying, and I don't know. It was hard to watch, so I don't even want to think about how they felt. They were trying to judge Nate, I think, in my opinion, based on the previous 3 weeks. And that was the persecution, They were trying to paint a side. They were just trying to highlight how he was before the last 2 or 3 weeks, the bright future he had ahead of him, and trying to minimize the last 3 weeks as much as they could. And of course, try to explain or make sense out of it with the depression that he was diagnosed with. I mean, Nate had good, caring, and responsible parents. I feel like they just couldn't help him anymore. They tried, but he's an adult at this point, and they did the best they could. According to the defense, he had a temporary psychotic episode, and that is why he lost control and killed Lauren, making not criminally responsible, according to his lawyer. His body was acting, but his mind was somewhere else. That's one of the statements that I've heard over and over again in different occasions during the trial. They were trying to make the jury understand that he was acting in a way. His body was doing something, but his mind wasn't there. Now the prosecution, they have a good argument. They say that all he did after killing Lauren was to cover up, so that kind of tells you that he was actually, aware that if they found the body, that he was going to go to jail. And that kind of shows you that he knew what he was doing. He wasn't having a psychosis moment or event or period. And, even if he did have it, he would have called somebody. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's say you have a psychotic event, somebody does, for 5 minutes, and you do something you do truly regret. When you come back to your senses, then that's when you realize, oh my goodness, what did I do? I don't remember doing this, or how did this happen, or did somebody else do it, or, it's the kind of thing that you would realize after you come out of that moment. So basically that's what the prosecution was saying, that if he did realize right after what he did, and if he actually regretted doing it, he could have called his parents or somebody. But the prosecution says that he chose to do that. He chose to hide it. He chose, even though he did a horrible job at doing that. And maybe he subconsciously wanted to get caught, because don't tell me that you do this kind of thing and then hide your shoes in your attic and get muddy. I mean, if somebody was really, in my opinion, if you are really thinking about doing this and trying to get away with it, you're not gonna keep your stuff in your house. I'm sorry. That's just kind of shows that he wasn't really thinking straight. He was found guilty to murder in the first degree, and he was also sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The defense tried. I mean, they brought different experts and psychiatrists that actually testified that he had that psychotic event, and that they truly believe that, he was acting in a way, but his mind wasn't there. It didn't help. One of the things that it made me cry every single time I watch it, because you can watch this, but during court, after, Nate got his sentence, Malcolm, which is Lauren's dad, he walked across the courtroom and hugged Nate's parents. Mind you, Nate's parents were crying the entire time. hysterically crying the entire time. There were some periods where she was even loud, and I think those were just the highlights of the, whenever something, they were describing how brutal everything was. And I'm not gonna go into detail, but it was brutal the way that he killed her. Apparently he, cut her throat several times, and crime of passion, I would think. But so Lauren's dad walked across the courtroom and hugged Nate's parents, which were devastated. I mean, I can't even imagine what they were going through. Her, their oldest son. They just, it's crazy because I get it. You get to know your son for 18 years, and then all of a sudden he does something in a matter of weeks that changes life forever. You can never imagine that. You can't make that up. So I can't even think how they were feeling at the time. He said, Malcolm, so Lauren's dad said that in one of the interviews that he walked to them and hugged them because he felt like they were sharing grief. And even though he was going through something very horrible himself, he wanted to comfort them in a horrible situation that should never, it shouldn't happen. And he also said that he felt that the parents were being tortured. And that in his heart he felt that because of what Nate did, the parents were going to continue living with this torture for the rest of their lives. I just can't believe how, I can't believe it. I think we all need a little bit more kindness in this world. And now I think we all need to step out of our own shoes and move into somebody else's shoes for just a few minutes every day. And I think that is the only way that you can feel compassion, that you can feel love, that even though you don't understand what they are doing, you can still manage to be on their shoes for just a few minutes. He showed compassion and grace from, and he was a grieving father. This guy is just one of a kind. I feel like Lauren wanted to go to Nate's home because she thought that he was going to kill himself. I don't know what the text message said or what the phone call was about, but according to everything that I read about her and what the friends were telling about that situation, Lauren was already worried about him before the mom even went to talk to her and ask her to go talk to him. She cared about him, and she wanted the best for him. She was mature enough to understand that you can care for somebody, you can even love somebody, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be with them because you're not good for each other. And I can't even imagine what that would feel like. I can't really understand it. I try, but I think that Nate would feel rejection from Lauren. Well, Lauren was trying to see the best case scenario where we don't get along, we just need to separate, move on with our lives. I love you, but I can't be with you because we're not good for each other. I think she was being the mature person there, and Nate didn't understand it that way. He understood that he was being rejected, and I don't care who you are, you don't want to be rejected. You don't want to feel rejected by friends, by your girlfriend, by whoever. It's just, no, you don't want to feel that way. When they ask the friends about about, I don't know, different situations that Lauren had with Nate, they would all say that he wasn't abusive, that he had no signs, that physical abuse or verbal abuse. But I find it very interesting that they said that, but then they also said, well, but he was a little bit possessive and he would look through her phone. But again, no signs of abuse. Well, if somebody is being a bit possessive to the point that they need to look through your phone, I think that you are in a point in a relationship where you don't have trust. And for the person that it's being looked through their phone, in this case Lauren, if she's doing the right thing, if she's committed to this relationship, and then this guy is a little bit insecure, for putting it in one word, I think it gets to the point where you get fed up. You're like, listen, check my phone all you want, but I'm getting tired of you playing detective with my phone. But it bothers me to see that those are signs that your relationship is not going in the right way. And I can't see how Nate couldn't see it. I understand that Lauren did, and that's why she broke up with him. But at the same time, I don't get why Nate thought that it was normal to be checking her phone and checking up on her. Listen, if you have the need to go through your girlfriend's text messages, maybe you need to break that off and take some time, because there's no good relationship built in this kind of behavior. You need to trust whoever is with you, that they choose to be with you and not anybody else. If it gets to a point that you don't believe that they're happy, that you believe that they're looking somewhere else, that's a clue. That's a sign. That's your cue. Maybe you break up with that person and then they realize that what they are missing on, or they really want to be with you and they change behaviors to be with you. Then maybe they stop texting other quote-unquote friends, or maybe they stop looking for somebody else because they found the one. You never know. But according to the American Psychological Association, 1 in 3 teenagers or young adults are victims of sexual, verbal, or physical abuse by a dating partner, okay? I'm talking about a dating partner. In those numbers, only 3% will report it to an authority figure. 6% will tell a family member, and 75% will tell a friend. So listen, you friends out there. Sometimes when you see, not sometimes, let's go back. If you see that somebody is showing any of these signs, if you feel like they are in an abusive relationship, either because you see their body, or if you see, they're being physical, if you are witness of their fights, if one of them is manipulating the other one into doing something that one of them doesn't want to do, speak up, say something. You have the power do something about it. The parents may not even know that they're going through that. The parents probably have no idea that they're going through that. So you have the power. Talk to whoever you want, but talk to an adult. Talk to your parents. Talk to the office in your high school. Talk to the janitor. Talk to a police officer. Talk to the guard. Whoever. Talk to an adult and tell them. More than likely, the adult that you are talking or with or you're explaining to, they will talk to somebody who can do something about it. You have the power to help. You have the ability to help. Please, just don't let it pass. Don't be the person that didn't say anything. If you see, you now know the signs. You now have the knowledge of what's not right. Spread awareness. Talk to your friends about it. Just make sure that everyone knows that this is not okay. It will never be okay to be possessive. It will never be okay to be abusive, either verbally or physically. Never would be okay. So no matter how you were raised, now you know the signs. And now you have the responsibility of keep an eye out for your friends too. You don't have to do anything more than just say something, because this is something that needs to be resolved, and it can be managed, investigated, do something about it, but only by an adult. You cannot change the world, but you can say something. And if anything happens, you tried your best. You were a true good friend. That's it. That's all you have to do. And this way, when you're part of that 75%, that somebody comes to you and you're part of that 75% that get told a story or something, now you know. Now you know what to do with that information if they are not brave enough to tell their parents what they're going through, or a police officer, or the lady at the office, or the counselor. I think, especially if you talk to somebody at your high school, they've seen enough. You're not going to be judged. You're not going to be looked differently. They just want to help you. So I hope that this case helps somebody out there to see the signs. And hopefully from now on, we can all keep an eye out for each other. Yes, I think we all have to work on ourselves. But if we can do something to help somebody out there, I think we should all try it. I feel bad for Nate, because, a really bad decision determined the rest of his life. And because of those weeks that he was in that depression, because he didn't get the help to, it was kind of a series of events that led him to do what he did. But it always makes you wonder, what if he did get the help? What if he, did something about it? What if he didn't pick up the phone when Lauren called? What if the mom did never ask? I mean, think about the mom, how she probably feels or felt when she was the one that asked Lauren to talk to Nate. I mean, what? She could have never guessed that he was going to missing out on a beautiful girl who had a beautiful voice. But she left something behind, and that is her story. And I hope that it can help people out there, teenagers out there, and realize that breakup violence is real. And that when we stand together, we're stronger. And to also put away the stereotypes of, the guy that drops out of high school is the one that kills a girl, or the possessive guy because he is Latino, or he is, Asian, or he is African American, or he is, this was a very popular couple, good looking couple, successful couple, and this still happened to them. So let's put the stereotypes away and do something about it. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and I will see you on my next one.